Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Know Your Game podcast for you from US Indoor. I have with me today Elaine Matthews. Elaine, so great to have you. Elaine, first, just tell us about who you are and kind of your history and what you do now.
So, hi, Chuck. Thanks for having me. I am the Director of Marketing and New Business Development at High Velocity Sports in Canton. We're kind of located between Detroit and Ann Arbor. Um, Basically, my job is to bring in events and bring in tournaments and programs that are in addition to what we normally offer. I also do the marketing for the facility. I've been at High Velocity for 20 years, so it's been a long time.
Jeez. Okay.
Um, Before that, I worked for a professional indoor soccer team called the Detroit Rockers for about 5 years. And kind of in between there, I was the marketing director for a cellular phone chain of stores.
All right. And so, what other roles? You said you've been at High Velocity for 20 years. What other roles did you hold like before that?
So I started off kind of like as an office manager. Our business was completely different at that time. Our scope of everything we had was different. Um, I started off as like an office manager. I've always been the marketing director for the whole time. And then just kind of worked my way into other things. We decided at a certain point that we wanted to go outside of just soccer and start offering other sports and other activities and trying to build different revenue streams. And so that was something that was kind of exciting to me. And that's where I kind of took off with the new business development.
That's cool. Well, congratulations. That's awesome. We don't see a lot of people that stick around for 20 years in this industry, so good for you. Our topic for today is preparing the facility for a busy winter season. You're in Michigan. It doesn't really get much busier, right, in terms of the difference between summer and winter than it does in Michigan and points further north, um, like Canada. I'd like to call you South Canada. Don't be offended, right?
Close.
Um,
Very close.
so, and we because we have a lot of turnover in the industry, there are a lot of people listening today that this will be their first busy winter season. So we kind of want to talk about what you and your team do to prepare for that big of a change. So let's first talk about the building itself. You guys got like a whole bunch of playing surfaces. So tell me what you got.
So we have our main building is 110,000 square feet. We have three boarded soccer fields. We have two golf simulators. We have four basketball slash volleyball courts. We have two futsal slash multi-surface court areas. And then we also have an attached dome. So that's another 63,000 square feet of it's a full size soccer field that we use for things like soccer, lacrosse. There are baseball teams that practice in there. We use it for flag football and other activities too.
Geez, so like 110,000 square feet total under the roof.
173.
Oh, because I didn't add the dome.
Yeah,
So yeah, like
yeah,
100. Wow, so like
173,000.
100, almost 175,000 square feet. Do you have food and beverage in there as well?
We have a concession stand. We do sell beer, wine, and like seltzers.
Hmm.
We can do a full bar, but we do full bars for things like events, like bar mitzvahs and other types of like corporate outings and things like that. But for our concession purposes, we just sell beer and like
Yeah, that's
seltzers
probably
mostly.
a good idea. I don't know that liquor and contact sports mix terribly well. Um, if you guys want, I should note that if you guys want to take a virtual tour, there is a virtual tour available on hvsports.com. That's hvsports.com. You can check out High Velocity and what they've got going on there. So now, Elaine, is probably about the slow time. This is kind of the slow time for you,
This
right,
is
in
our
the year?
this is our slow time. We like to say our slow time because we just came off of a really busy camp season, probably our busiest summer camp season we've ever had in 20 years, which was awesome. Um, Although we have less teams playing during that time in the summer, we also have kids camp all day. And we have field trips that come in from other places. So we have other summer camps, other daycare centers, other places that come in during the day. So we're very busy during the day in the summer months. So it's a little different than the rest of the year. Um, and this is our time that we're trying to recoup and get ready for winter, which is going to start at the end of October.
All right, so at the time of this recording, it's the 20th of September, and you say you're kicking off your first real busy games like the last weekend in October. Is that right?
Right.
Okay. So how many teams you got playing right now?
So for the summer session, our adult leagues, we've got about 50.
Okay.
And then we don't have our other sports playing right now. They'll be
Okay.
they'll be starting, everything starts back up September and October.
All right. So then, how many will you expect to start their season at the end of October?
So between soccer, basketball, lacrosse, volleyball, and flag football, there'll probably be about 360 teams.
So we're going to go from 50 to more than 350
Yeah.
over the course of the next 5 or 6 weeks. So that's enormous. I mean, that's just like the team's got to be feeling some anxiety about that. I mean, that's how long does the season run? So you'll play because winter is long in Michigan. So like how long will
So
that number of teams play?
our busy indoors time is usually from the end of October to the first week in April.
So you got a long season too. So you've
Yeah,
got
so
all of
it's a
November,
long time
December.
of, yeah. And so we do a winter one season for our adults is November, December, and then we do another season that's January, February, and then March and April. And then for the kids, they'll play November, December, and then they play January, February, March, and then they do it's like a 12-week season. So they go into like the first week of April.
And then they're hopefully the snow is melted and they'll go
Yeah,
back outside.
the travel teams still practice here all through the winter. So
Uh,
the local travel, teams they still practice here all winter long. So even in April, they're usually here until almost May because the ground is either cold, wet, muddy,
Muddy,
or
yeah.
whatever the reason is. So
Or just
they're
the
still
fields aren't
indoor.
ready for them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Geez. So you're gonna more than septuple the number of teams that you have in the course of the next 5 weeks. So how many staff do you have right now?
Right now, there's about 15.
And
We
how,
came off the summer, we probably had about 50 in the summer, and we'll probably, because of kids camp and because
yeah.
of and that doesn't even include like coaches and things like that. But in the winter, we'll probably have about 70 referees, and then there's about 50 employees, 40 to 50 employees.
So you're gonna triple the number of employees too.
Right.
So geez, how do you even get enough? uh, I should ask because everybody's having trouble finding employees. How's that going?
So for us, the good thing is that some of these kids that work kids camp will now come in and work concessions and facility.
Okay.
So even though some of them are in a break, a lot of them are in season right now because they're playing. They're especially the boys are playing in season. Some of the club teams are still playing. So they're going to be winding down when it's time for us to kind of come in. So we get a lot of the high school kids and college kids in the area that did kids camp for us. We start with them, and then we just put it out there and start hiring people through the high schools. We, spread the word, social media. We get a lot of our staff to post on their Snapchats. That seems to be like a great source of finding new people is when one of our employees posts on their Snapchat. That helps us out. So
Take
um,
note, everybody. Recruiting by Snapchat.
kind of stay away from things like Indeed. We get a lot of applicants from that, but they tend to be people that live either far away or are just applying to everything. So not
Okay.
that Indeed is a bad resource, it just doesn't work great for us for some
So
reason.
so more of a referral based,
Right.
okay.
And a
All
lot
right.
of kids have their friends come in and they work. And so we do a lot of referral.
And so what's the training look like for the triple the number of people that are coming? Like so just talk about for the new people. You said you have some returning people.
Well, it's a lot of divide and conquer too. So we have like some of those people will work concessions. So we have a concessions manager that will train those people in the concessions. They typically work with initially with somebody that's been there.
Uh-huh.
So they're not just all brand new people working. We have for our office staff, again, the same thing. Our office staff will train new office staff, but it's always with somebody that's already been there. So it's never just new people. We hire facility staff. It does the cleaning. That kind of stuff is our office helps train in that aspect. And then sometimes we just pair them with someone that's done it before too, so that they can kind of know what to do.
So you feel pretty confident that in the next 5 or 6 weeks you'll have your team prepared enough that they can execute that first weekend of games.
I mean, we hope so. You're never as prepared. you're never as prepared as you think you're going to be, but we do our best. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we do still have some time, and you're actively doing it now, right? You're not like waiting until 2 weeks before the season
No,
starts.
we're actually starting to recruit right now.
Okay. All right. Very good. So that's on the staff side. What else do you have to do at the facility to be ready for 7 times the level of business that you've got right
So we
now?
just had our basketball court area. It's 17,000 square feet, like where the four courts are. We just had our basketball court area repaired in a certain spot that had some water damage, and then they resurfaced the entire courts. So our courts are completely redone. They look like they're absolutely like brand new
How
courts.
long
I mean,
did that take?
everything was even repainted. We have a crew coming in to repair any seams on our turf, on our fields. They will fix any seams. They will fix any tears. They will refill like the pellets, the
Mm-hmm.
rubber pellets where
Mm-hmm.
we need infill. And they make the fields, playable where they're like back to like new as well. We do the deep cleaning just like everybody else. We do deep cleaning, deep cleaning, deep cleaning. That's all we talk about right now. And also painting and any repair projects that came up in the last few months that need to, we did some repainting outside our front doors, where our sign is, got some new LED lights, things like that. So we're just kind of doing our maintenance of the building.
Is there anything particular to the cold that you have to do to the parking lot prior to the winter?
Not on an annual basis. I mean, there are things that we have to do. Sometimes we had to fix, like last winter, we had to fix where the manholes are.
Mm-hmm.
The they
It heaved.
Yeah, like they just heaved up, and so we had to have somebody come in and repair those, and so we took care of that. There's not, you have to get your parking lots resurfaced every so often. I think
Yeah, because the
we're good for
potholes
that.
up there is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're good for that right now. We're okay with that for this year, but there are things like that you have to do. Making sure that your roof's not leaking anywhere, making sure that there's no water coming in anywhere, things like
Testing the
that.
heat. Yeah, I'm sure you got to test the heat before you get ready to go. I mean, it's
Yeah, we have maintenance contracts for that stuff, so they'll come in and they'll
okay.
make sure that all of our heaters are working properly, making sure all of our, we just got new heaters last year, so hopefully, we shouldn't have any issues with that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
I hope not.
Um,
Yeah. Do you have
so
to put
just
like the snow because you guys get a bunch of snows? You have to put like the snow markers around the curbs and things like that.
We're fortunate that we have an agreement with the township. They come in and they actually clear our parking lots.
Oh, nice.
So our sidewalks and parking lots get cleared when it snows. And then we have heat melt around our dome. So it melts
Hmm.
the snow that's around the perimeter of the dome. And we have people that actually, we have snow blowers and shovels, and sometimes people have to shovel stuff out. But
Sure.
for the most part, we're lucky that the township, we pay them to come and clear our lots.
That's a good idea. Okay. All right. Um, I know this isn't really your role. Anything that you're doing and or the team has to do in terms of your marketing and preparation and capacity calculations to make sure you don't take too many teams that you
Yeah,
can't
so
service.
we have like a league that we do in our dome that we do in conjunction with another facility, actually with a couple facilities. So we have like a league, it's called the Total Velocity League. Um, there's another facility called Total Soccer. They have actually multiple locations. So we combine and do a league with them. We can only take a certain number of teams before we're sold out in
Hmm.
our dome. And so we have to be very conscious of like the number of teams that are signed up because we can only fit so many. Once we fill our facility, we can still sign up other teams on their rosters type of thing. And then we get the cut for that.
All right. And so, like, just to back up one, what's like a normal first game kickoff on a busy winter Saturday? Is it what time?
We try not to go before 7 a.m. Sometimes we do. The earliest we've ever had games was I think 5:45.
Oof.
We may have gone a little earlier than that. We try to stick to 7 a.m. and finish by 11:30 p.m.
So somewhere right before midnight, you're finally
Wrapping
the
up. We
afternoon
try.
evening team is is trying to go home.
Yeah, and I mean, there's times it's 11:45. Sometimes it's been midnight, but we try to start and end 7 a.m. to 11:30.
um, do you remember your first busy winter?
I do. It's not as busy as it is now because we didn't have as many
Sure.
sports. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we were doing things. We were using. There wasn't even software. We were using like Excel spreadsheets to keep track of everything.
Oh,
So, how fun is that?
yeah.
20 years ago, they didn't have programs like we do now. So we
Yeah.
were using Excel spreadsheets to keep track of everything. So it was,
Doing schedules on paper and
yeah,
yeah.
it was the old school. Everything was old school.
So from when was like the turning point? So like now high velocity is 173,000 square feet. What do you think was the big like what happened to get it from where you were 20 years ago to where you if there was a turning point, what was it?
I think we just decided as a team, and like our management team decided that we wanted to um, grow. I mean, when you get to a point where your leagues are doing well and everything is doing well, and you get to almost like a cap off with revenue, you try to find out how do you increase that revenue. So we just always try to find ways to increase our revenue based on what we're able to offer. Sometimes that's not even in our building. Sometimes we offer classes and things outside of our building at other locations. But we try to do as much as we can that if it brings in additional revenue at times that we can accommodate it, then we do it. So we changed kind of from being just like a soccer mostly
Sure.
facility to we are still very soccer oriented, but we have all these other sports
But there's
as well.
yeah, other stuff too. You got the pickleballers in there yet?
We don't have pickleball. We don't have pickleball because our courts are so busy that it's tough to add that in there.
Fair enough.
Um, but
It's a
we
good
have
problem to have.
but we did add we have starting this Thursday wheelchair rugby.
Oh, that's cool.
So we have adaptive sports kind of starting to come in. We have a team that's going to be practicing every Thursday, and then they're hosting a tournament in December. So I'm super excited
Wheelchair
about that.
rugby. Take some
Wheelchair
video
rugby,
and send it over because
yeah, for
that's
sure.
cool. That's really
Yeah, and
cool.
then we have handball now. We have on our futsal courts. We have a group that's coming in. They're doing handball practices, and they're competitive. They're like a semi-pro handball team. They're going to be offering some fun stuff for kids to do as well. So we're open to whatever.
And I saw you've got foaling now.
We have foaling. Can't really offer it so much in the winter months.
Sure.
In the more spring, summer, and fall, people can rent surfaces, and then we have foaling. We have like cornhole. So sometimes when we have events, we put that kind of stuff out there. The corporate events love those things too. So we have
Sure.
cornhole and foaling, can jam, stuff like that we can do.
Sure. So you grew into 360 teams like over time. It was kind of a
Right.
slow growth into it. So if you had a new manager coming in right now, right? And you were trying to prepare them for what's coming in 40 days, what do you say to them?
It's it's going to be a ride. I don't know. We it, it I think that we have different people. It's a lot of like I said, divide and conquer. So we have someone that is a soccer director. So our soccer director takes care of all the soccer teams. We do have a referee scheduler, so we have somebody outside that we have that schedules our referees. So it kind of handles that silo. We have a flag football program that comes in. It's national flag football, so they bring in their own program. Our basketball program is run by a different person. It's just youth basketball leagues. So I have somebody that runs like youth basketball leagues. We have our volleyball program is an AAU volleyball program that we have the high velocity hurricanes. We have directors for that program, so they run that program. And we have someone in the office that also helps out with that as well. So it's kind of everybody's got their silos. I work on all the events and the extra, things like field trips in the winter that they still schools come in for field trips. We're back to that after COVID. Our field trip business was really good during the day. And it's looking like it's going to be pretty good this year too. So I deal with more like the event stuff. We have one person dealing with each of the other sports. We have some rentals for lacrosse. We have a person who handles our lacrosse program, and he's an outside person too. But we work with him in the office to kind of make sure everything's running smoothly. So
So
it's a little
you're
bit.
saying I think you can't do it alone.
You can't do it
Like
alone.
you have to have a solid team of people that know what they're doing, right? To
And each
even
responsible for their
right,
specific activities. So yeah,
right,
we do
right.
have that. That's how we get through it.
All right. I think that's really important to note is that even at smaller facilities, you can delegate some responsibility, even if it's really small buckets, right? So maybe it's you know what? You're just going to handle the adult men's soccer, right? Out on a part-time basis, but that's your baby. You do it because trying to get one manager to do it all, especially with that many youth teams coming in for the next 5 months, and you still want
Things
to
slip
have
through the
an
cracks.
yeah,
I mean,
you're trying to have an adult program that survives at the end of that 5 months, right? Like you want to keep playing after that. You got to have a solid team worth of people, hopefully experienced that know what they're doing.
and that's just teams. I mean, with our instructional clinics, we have little kickers, we have basketball clinics, we have lacrosse clinics, we have volleyball clinics, we have some golf clinics. There, between all the clinics too, I mean, there's like thousands of participants a session. So that's another whole
Yeah, a
animal
whole
by
different
itself.
animal. And you do
Yeah.
some birthday parties and that kind of stuff too. I imagine
We
that's
do
pretty busy
birthday
as well.
parties. I mean, that's not a huge part of our business, but we do birthday parties. We do some, like I had mentioned, corporate events, some special event type things. We've done graduation parties. We've done, we're hosting like a gymnastics tournament, a huge gymnastics tournament. It's a huge rental for us. They're a great group. It's a very serious and well-run tournament. We are hosting a big lacrosse tournament. They come in from New York and they host this huge lacrosse tournament. So we have different things that we have in the facility throughout the year that that kind of complement the team, just having leagues.
Right. Well, yeah, yeah, I mean, you would have to. That's great. Anything else you would say to a facility owner or a new manager or somebody that's trying to rise into that role to really to be on firm footing for a
Just
really busy season?
think outside the box. Like, there, a lot of people don't like change. A lot of people don't like something that's new. They're afraid of trying something different. You can try something new and you can fail and move on to something else. So if it didn't work, then you've learned and you can move on. If it takes off, then that's awesome. So we try to stay away from just being in a small box and saying this is all we can do. So most of what we try to say is what else can we do? Where else can we fit something in? How else can we, go outside of the facility and do other things? So it's mostly just don't lock yourself into one spot, but also don't grow faster than you can keep up.
Uh, that's a
That's
good
one
one.
thing that I've noticed is when facilities try to grow faster than they can keep up, that's when they tend to lose customers.
I would agree with that. I should note as well, Elaine is U.S. Indoor's first female board member, so congratulations, Elaine. We're glad to have you,
Thank
and your
you.
voice is very valuable. Thank you for your time, Elaine, today. This is great. I hope it helps you guys out there that are going into a busy winter season now. It's gonna be a ride if this is your first one. As Elaine said, this will be a ride, and empower your team, lean on them, and you will get through it at the end of this thing in the spring, and then you'll have a whole lot of new lessons that you've learned for the next one. Anything else, Elaine, before we go?
Oh, just thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. It was fun.
Okay.